Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, March 25th, and this is Morning Mindfulness Minutes with Mrs. Robinson. Let's get started. Okay, so today, before we get started, I'm going to read one of my words of wisdom. If you guys remember, this was sitting on my desk at work. I grabbed it yesterday. So the first one I'm going to read of the day is this one. And it says, courage is taking those first steps to your dream, even if you can't see the path ahead. Something to think about. Today, we're going to be talking about conflict resolution. What is conflict? Well, conflict is when two or more people want different things or think different ways. An example, let's see, when I was younger, my younger sisters used to borrow my clothes without asking, which caused conflict. So there are 5 different ways to handle conflicts. Way 1 is avoiding it, ignoring it. I don't see it, I don't hear it, I'm not paying attention to it because it might not be important to you, or the person who it's about is not very important to you. Okay. The second way is accommodating. The relationship is very important to you, more so than an issue, so you'd rather just make the other person happy because issue is not really that big deal to you either, but you do care about the person, so you want to, work it out that way. All right, number 3, forcing. Your issue is very important to you. You're not seeing any other way but that way. If they don't agree with you, they can go ahead because what you say is right, what you think is right, this is what it is, this is what it is. That's forcing, okay? Compromising. Compromising means you give a little, take a little. So let's say I would tell my sisters, okay, I don't care if you borrow this set of clothes without asking, but never borrow these clothes without asking. That might be a compromise for you. Okay, and lastly, is collaborating. Now, this is the one that takes a lot more time, a lot more conversation, a lot more communicating, because you're kind of trying to get to the root of it. Like, why are you taking my clothes? Do you want me to buy you something? Because you have a whole bunch of stuff already. Is it personal? So, and this is something where the relationship is very important to you and the issue is very important to you. So you want to make sure both things are taken care of equally. Okay. This takes the most time, but it's the best way to develop and build relationships with either friends, family, boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, whatever. Okay. Moving on. So, I don't want to make this too long, but some of the main points I want to get out of this conflict thing is that first, conflict is a part of life. And it can be positive if handled correctly. It can help your relationships grow. Okay. Everywhere you go, every person you meet, every time you interact with someone, there's going to be a potential for conflict because everybody has different expectations. You can expect this, he can expect that, she can expect so-and-so. Like you might expect people to come in your house that they automatically should just know to take off their shoes. But everybody wasn't raised like that. Everybody doesn't do that. So if someone came into your house and didn't take off their shoes and were walking around, you might feel disrespected. I was like, oh my goodness, they're trying to disrespect me. They didn't take their shoes off, but they wasn't raised that way. They didn't know that. They didn't know that's what they were supposed to do. So it wasn't intentional. So make sure you keep that in mind. When you're getting in conflict with someone, make sure you know that it might not be intentional. They might not just know. And if you talk to them and tell them how you feel about it, they can change. Now, there are some situations where you deal with someone and you talk to them and you tell them how you feel and you tell them what, you would like for them to do. And they're like, you know what, I'm still going to do whatever I want to do because I can do whatever I want to do and I'm growing or whatever. And they'll do this whole hand thing. You see this hand thing? This might happen a lot. This whole thing, that might happen a lot too. If that's the case, you might need to walk away from that. I'm like, okay, take your little steps back. Okay, moving on. Because you know what? Everybody can't be in your personal space. Everybody can't have access to you. Yes, everybody can't have access to you because you, not only do you want to, build relationships, make friends, keep people, whatever, but you also want to keep your sanity. You want to keep your own peace. And sometimes you got to protect yourself from people who don't want you to keep your peace. Okay? And finally, if there's a small conflict, deal with it immediately. Don't let it sit and fester and grow because it just gets into a bigger conflict, a bigger conflict, and a bigger conflict when it could have just been handled right from the beginning. Okay? Finally, disagree with ideas and behavior, not with people. So I could be mad at the situation of my clothes being missing, but not be like angry at my sister. So I'm mad at the problem, not the person. It kind of helps because it's like, since I'm mad at the problem, the issue that me and that person would have will be trying to solve the problem because we both have issues with the problem, not with each other. Think about that. You keep thinking about it, it might make some more sense. Okay. All right. So that's when I want to talk about that. So my question that I would like you guys to answer in my stream on my Google Classroom, the comment section in there, not in YouTube, in my Google Classroom. How do you handle conflicts? That's the question I want you to answer. And lastly, for mindfulness, as you can see, well, you might be able to see yet, but I do have a little cute setup here. Let me see if I can show you. I got my little humidifier scented thing going. I got my little salt candle rocks, my candle and my salt rock thingy going. I'm about to turn these lights off for a second so we can get going with the mindfulness, which I'm going to be reading from Everyday Mindfulness is the book that we use in school. I'm going to be reading from one of the ones that I normally do. I know, kids, I know one of you would be like, oh, Mrs. Robinson, you read this one already. Blah, 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 blah. But I'm going to read it again because I like it. And I get to read whatever I want. All right, so this one is called Anchor. Hold on a second. Okay. Lights off. Let's get some music going. So this one is called Anchor. A sailor uses an anchor to stop their ship from floating away. Now, before I start reading, I want you guys to get into your positions. Either you're sitting down on the floor, you're sitting in the chair, your hands are on your lap or in a comfortable position. Your eyes could be closed or open, focus on a certain spot in the room. Okay, and I want you to focus on your breathing. We're doing deep breaths, deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for a few seconds. Deep breath out through your nose or your mouth. And when you're breathing out, try to breathe out as slowly and as much as possible, okay? So you're taking a deep breath in, holding it for a few seconds, slowly taking a deep breath out. Now I want you to keep on doing that as I read this. A sailor uses an anchor to stop their ship from floating away. They drop it when they want to park their boat so they can enjoy the scenery or perhaps fish without the worry that their vessel will disappear. There are times when we are like a boat too. We travel throughout our day, moving from one adventure to another. Sometimes it is nice to stop and enjoy the scenery or just take a rest from the fast pace of our lives. We have our own kind of anchor that allows us to steady and rest safely. We actually take this anchor with us wherever we go, so we can use it whenever we need to. Our anchor is our breath. So we should already be in our breathing positions, sitting with our spine long, our shoulders relaxed. Notice the state of your breath, feelings in your body, and thoughts in your mind. As you're sitting here doing your breathing, deep breath in, slowly breathing out. Please pay attention to only your breathing. There will be other thoughts that might come through your mind. Notice them, but let them flow right on past as you focus back on your breathing. Take a big breath through your nose. Hold it again for a second. Breathe slowly out. What part of your body felt that breath the most? Was it your nose as air moved in and out? Was your chest or belly or ribs as the air filled you up? Try this a few times and note where you feel your breath. There's a different spot for each of us, so allow yourself to find your true anchor. It may be helpful for you to close your eyes so you can feel the air move in and out of your body a bit more. We're going to take 3 more deep breaths. All right, you guys. Thank you for joining for Morning Mindfulness Minutes with Mrs. Robinson. See you next week.